Hello and welcome to my review of the Warhammer 40,000 Conquest issue 61. You've probably seen the thumbnail and thought, wow, super, there's some good colours there, there's good contrast. You've got the red and the blue, and then the red and the blue and the blue. Yeah, it's a nice selection of colours they've used for this issue. As always, this issue will cost you £7.99. It's a subscription run by hatchett Partworks, whereby they will charge you the £32, so 4 issues, once per month, and they'll post you all of the 4 issues in a bag if you've seen all of my other unboxings and things. And I've displayed that in all of the unboxings of all of these issues. Now, what's interesting with this issue is you actually get some Imperial Objectives, objective markers, which I've always felt like Games Workshop are a little bit lacking. They've never really created that many. They've put tokens out instead of these, which has meant there's been a gap, and that's a gap that us hobbyists are always willing to fill in terms of creating your own objectives. If you've got some spare parts, you could make a little skull shrine, that's an objective. If you've got a few spare missiles, you could make like a weapons dump for an objective. The level of creativity is, as always, endless. However, it's great to have a selection of ready-made objectives that Games Workshop have produced. There's no way of getting these particular pieces individually. Games Workshop sell 2 objective sets, one called the Sector Imperialis Objectives, which is £22.50, so that just puts it in perspective there, and the other one is for Age of Sigmar, which is the Shattered Dominion Objectives, which is a little bit cheaper at £20, but does include like a tome and a couple of treasure chests with books and coins and a giant's head. Pretty nice. Let's just say that this set of Imperial Objectives would normally cost £22.50. We can deduce that that's a saving of £14.50, which is quite a big saving when you think about it. A third-party seller can't even touch that kind of saving. So this is a good set to pick up if you're in the market of picking up objectives. If you already play games and you've got objective markers, you could pick these up and use them as part of your scenery, use them as part of your battle board. So they do have a fair number of usages. Anyway, let's have a look at the magazine itself, even though we've just done that in the first look. So it starts off with Forces of Tzeentch, Thousands of Suns, and then goes through the conflagration of war, and specifically focuses on Tzeentch with the Prospero and Planet of the Sorcerers right there. Got a bit more about the fall of Magnus and Prospero and Thousand Suns. So that's kind of what he did look like when he was a Primarch, and now he's a Demon Primarch. Huge model, absolutely fantastic. Was the first kind of plastic Primarch that we got alongside Guilliman. And now of course we have Mortarion and so on. There's a look at some of the models, a bit of a showcase there with their funky looking helmets. I do like the Exalted Sorcerer and the Rubric Marines in general. Araman is a fantastic model. How to build the Imperial Objectives? They are super easy to build. You won't have any issues at all other than with some of the mold lines. There's a Medicae Servitor, which looks more complicated than it actually is. The table is just 2 pieces. The Reliquary, oh, that's a pain for me to say, only consists of 6 pieces. And then you've got some ammunition crates where you can glue the lids open or shut. I've glued mine open. And then you've got a scatter field generator and a comm center. How to paint them? They've just gone ahead and just put lead belcher straight away on the plastic miniatures. My best tip is to get the can of lead belcher spray and spray that on directly. Saves you a lot of time. Then they go ahead and shade the pieces with non-oil, pick out some details with Retributor armor and shade them again with Agrax. And then they're pretty much done. You can use a bit of Necron compound and dry brush over the metal to pick out the detail. They show you how to put some plasma coils using the Thousand Suns blue and the Temple Guard blue that we got a couple of issues ago. And they've painted all their ammunition boxes this Athonian camo shade with highlights of Ogrin camo. actually comes out quite well. Definitely with the Stormhost Silver too, with the weapons. Looks pretty good. And then you've got the finished ammunition and weapon crate, should look like the examples in this image. Because remember, we got some more of them a few issues back as well, many issues back. And this is what the finished objective markers look like. Loads of detail on those. And then it goes through a tutorial mission, mission 22, Corvon 2 playmat. And then the Imperial Objectives. It describes them a little bit more, and a mission briefing for mission 25, and Hold Back the Horde, with specific objectives. And then a look at the next two issues, which includes the galvanic servo haulers. You'll get the crane in a not too distant issue, and then issue 63 is kind of like a repeat of issue 60, which included 10 poxwalkers, so these will be exactly the same as those, but you do get a slightly different Plague Marine. So that's issue 61. Let's have a closer look at these Imperial Objectives then. We'll do some size comparisons, and then I'll go through their very vast rules section. They don't have any rules, by the way. So that will be a part of this review that won't be here in the video. Okay, so the ammunition crates, again, you've got an option there of gluing them shut if you wish, or leaving them open. I'm going to leave these open because you already get two that are shut anyway, so I've decided to glue mine open. You've got las guns religiously placed, and then you've got what looks like las cannon capacitors. I don't think that they are for las guns, because las gun battery packs are smaller. But there you go, they're the open ammunition crates. You've got two closed ones there. Then you've got the reliquary, which looks pretty good. Would go quite well near the battle sanctum, or in the battle sanctum somewhere for the Sisters of Battle. You've got a severed hand still clutching a power sword, quite a big power sword as well. You've got some writing chipped away in the stonework on all of the sides, and this kind of gothic, kind of spiky kind of roof thing. Maybe you could put some glass in there, you know, in terms of clear plastic sheets, if you're so inclined, to give the effect of it being encased in glass. Then you've got the little scatter field generator. I have no idea what this would do in game terms, but looks quite cool, with a skull and cog symbol. And then you've got the Medicae surgery table, very kind of basic, with some straps on. And then you've got the Medicae servitor, very weird looking. It's on these caterpillar tracks. It's got a syringe and a mechanical claw, along with some lenses and some cylinders. It's only a torso really, no legs to speak of, and it's got this bright lumen lamp. Yeah, quite grim dark, I guess. And then finally you've got the comms array thing, an opportunity there of mastering some detail skills, and maybe painting on a little map or something on the screen. And finally you've got the pylons themselves. Again, plenty of opportunity there for detail. I just noticed that those battery capacitors look like they are the same size for what's in the ammunition crate, so I guess they power those. They've only got two, so there's two missing. You can put 4 in there, I guess. But yeah, these are the little pylons. Look quite nice. You could set up some kind of perimeter with those, and you know, some kind of add them to your diorama. So there you go, that's all the Imperial Objectives. Finally, let's just go through some size comparisons with all of these items to see how they measure up on a battlefield, because you may never have seen these pieces before, and it's quite useful to see how they measure up. So I thought it'd be more useful, in fact, just to lower the camera down and compare them to other scenery pieces. So I've got a bit of a pipeline here. You know, it would kind of work with a couple of pylons sort of barring away, maybe. that would kind of work, I guess. Next to a monitorum container, which is quite large. You know, if you haven't glued the doors open, then yeah, if you've kept them open, then you could have these ammunition crates, maybe a couple inside, that would be cool, or a couple just outside. Then next to the thermic plasma regulator, that gives you an idea. Maybe you got these surrounding it, I guess, with something on the top, like so. If we just, yeah, that sort of works in a way, or maybe even this thing. Yeah, that kind of works too. And then compared to the walls that you receive, you could have a section of walls with reliquary in there, maybe, and some sort of ammunition crates around it. You could make up your own little scenario. And finally, a hematite reactor, which is quite a large piece, the largest piece here in terms of scenery. Yeah, you could have that connected, and then you could have little workstation going on in the light of this hematite reactor. Maybe you could have something going on like that. So their uses are quite varied, not just as objective markers, but as valid scenery pieces too. They can add a lot to the feel of a board and the narrative of a game, especially if it's to do with rescuing a comrade or an Imperial citizen or somebody from a renegade Medicae servitors rudimentary experiments or something along those lines. You can make up your own narrative. Compared to models then, that's the next size comparison I want to make. You've got a Death Guard Plague Marine there, which are quite big anyway. You've got a Myphitic Blight Hauler, which we'll just put there too. So that just gives you an idea. It's quite a small thing, really, the Servitor. And then next to a couple of Space Marines, you've got the normal Space Marine, you've got a Legacy Space Marine on the left, Primaris on the right. Gives you some kind of idea of how small these little pieces of scenery are, or how big the pylons are. Yeah, I'd say taller than the Myphitic Blight Hauler, and taller than most of the other units. Probably even taller than Typhus actually too. But that gives you an idea of the sizes of these. Here's the Reliquary. It is taller than the Primaris, but Space Marines guarding it would look quite cool too. So I hope that's helped. That's it for my review of issue 61, and this has been my first experience of these Imperial Objectives. I've never had anything like these before. I think they're quite cool looking. I'm not sure whether I'd use them in a game. I'd probably use them as part of the scenery for the board, but the option is there to use them as you wish. What do you guys think of the Imperial Objectives? Please do put it in the comments below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor protects.